All right, well, you guys are going to have to sit on the barbecue so you can see what's going on. What I've done is I've taken the cover off. I managed to get this thing out of the way. And of course, as you know, when you take things apart like this, they tend not to go back together exactly as they were. But I've got this one figured out. I think this is a vent for the fuel tank. Anyway, I'm going to keep it out of the way for a little bit because I want to brush off some of the dirt that's in here. I do have the choke closed so that hopefully nothing goes inside the carb, which would really defeat the whole purpose of this exercise. So let's see what we can do here to clean it up without making it worse. This is a fuel vent line, I think. Could be wrong. But this line here, this one, is one of the ones they gave me to replace. However, without the knowledge of, well, it just goes through there and right into the tank. I mean, I see how it goes. I just don't know if I can reach it. But you know what? You don't know unless you try, right? So what I've got is this feed. This is the line from the tank to the carburetor right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Right there. And it goes underneath here and then into the tank. And this grommet is what sits inside the tank, or on the tank, to make the seal. And the thing is, you can barely get in there even with a screwdriver. I think I might try to replace it, because I'm guessing that's probably the only way to get the filter out. What I do need to do is get a certified receptacle to put that fuel in. I mean, the last thing we want to do is be dumping precious fuel and oil mixture onto the ground, especially when we're probably going to need it again, because there's still a lot of branches down. Clean that all up there. And I am going to put this on the ground in case I do spill a tad. Let's see how this goes. All right, not bad. Not bad at all. And I can see, I can see everything we need to work on in here. Now what I want to do is I want to get that filter to where I can look at it. Hopefully that's something I can do. And see if it needs to be replaced. There's still a couple drops in there. Very delicate operation here. Probably a pair of pliers would have been the best way to go. And I might end up needing to do that. Get a pair of needle nose. The tank itself looks really clean. And these things are weighted so that they tend to follow gravity, so that when you turn your saw sideways to cut at different angles, this thing will fall down to whatever gravity says is the bottom of your tank. So, unfortunately, well, you know, that thing looks clean as can be. It really does. I'm looking right at it. I mean, it's right here at the opening, but the springiness of this little hose doesn't allow it to fall out. If that makes sense. But I am looking right at it. The only other thing I can think of is that this springy hose here has a hole in it, which might have made it to where I wasn't getting any fuel. But I think that that's probably not the case. Now I've got the sun shining in here. I'm looking at the filter. It's not even discolored. I mean, it looks just as good as the new one. I think I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to try and take all that apart. Yeah, that might be the best way to go. So we'll just clean this up real good. I think I bought the whole kit simply because the whole kit was cheaper than just the plug alone, if I remember correctly. And this is a HIPAA BPM 7C. So let's take the other one out and see if it compares. They're better after all this. So I think what we're going to do yeah, a little bit different, but the distance to the electrode from the seat is about the same. So that's the biggest concern. You don't want it too long, because then that way your valve hits it and it breaks things, and then it's no good at all. So okay, new plug, new air filter. And this is all cleaned up. I want to put this back. This is the access to the adjusters for the high and low idle. And I don't know if it goes over the top or not. Yeah, it looks like it probably does. Oh, so this may take a minute. Like I said, things come off a heck of a lot easier than they go back on. I guess the next question is do they have to go on, or they just go in between? Hard to tell. way these look, I don't think they go on. I think they just go in between, because they're pretty dirty all the way through. They haven't been sitting on anything. Oh, okay, I see. This adjuster gets covered. There we go. There we go. That guy goes on there. These two go in here. And it goes back behind there. See, that was actually a lot easier than I was making it. Anywho, new air filter and intake manifold. How clever. And we'll put this back together. Okay, torque. And torqued. Double check. Torque. Yeah. Torque. Very good. Properly torqued. Just clean a little bit up out of there. So basically, plug an air filter. And if that doesn't do it, then we'll come back in with the fuel filter, which is probably pretty easy if you know what you're doing. And having never done it, I'm going to say I don't know what I'm doing, but we'll figure it out. Everything's put back together. Put the cover on. Right way up. Lock it in. Throw some fuel in there. Now I'm going to tell you, this thing had always started the first 3 pulls when I first got it. So I have no complaints. Now I know that if the fuel tank was full, and I do know this because I was getting ready to cut some wood and then the thing wouldn't start. If the fuel tank is full, then the oil tank is full because I was trying to cut some fallen limbs. And I was trying to cut some cedar to put on the ground so that all the fallen oak and ash would not sit on the earth. It would sit on top of the cedar and not rot so easily, because we don't burn the cedar. It burns too hot, too fast, too many spits, too many sparks. So we stay away from that. There's too much to burn here. So we try and be as careful as possible. Clean this up a little bit. I'll give it a proper cleaning if I decide not to use it before I go out of town, and then put it back in its box. I have a carrying case for it, which is real nice. All right. Let's see what happens. Make sure the anti-lock is off. Ho-ho! Not bad. I'm going to say the plug was bad, fouled, and even after cleaning it, it was no good. That's what I'm going to say. The air filter, I tried cleaning because it looked like there was a bunch of wood stuck to it, but that's the way it looks, and I may have ruined it. So I'm glad I got a new one. So with a new plug and a new air filter, we're back in business. We can cut some branches, stack some wood up, and in a year or so, it will be ready for burning in the fireplace. And we do love a nice fire in the winter. This saw, I'm going to tell you guys, I'm not a saw reviewer. I've had a couple. I had a Craftsman that my dad passed down to me that he got probably 50 years ago. And he bought it at Sears on the rebuilt section. And that thing lasted, it's probably still going. Anyway, this Stihl MS250, awesome saw. My brother has 3 or 4 of them, different sizes. You know, he's got a smaller one for just limbing, and then one about this size for cutting smaller stuff, and then a bigger saw for, of course, bigger stuff. And he loves them. He has one of the Stihls and another brand. One of them is a different brand, but so this has worked out really good for us. I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you very much. If you need to service your saw, you can do that very easily yourself, just as I did. If you need to, this is the piece that goes from the carb to the tank. This is the filter that goes on there. I'll be saving those. These two, I guess, are for the oil. And I'll be saving those as well in the plastic bag that just blew away, in case I need to put them on again. Or replace them at a later date, I should say. So thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. Something a little bit different today. I've enjoyed this. Hope you have too. Please like and subscribe. And we'll see you again really soon on the next one.